welcome back to another video. I'm bringing my tripod and mic because, sound quality insurance and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about this sort of, not crisis, but this thing that happened to me a couple of days ago where I was honestly wondering if this consecration stuff really was for me. I was talking to God, I was praying, and I was wondering, why is there sort of like a conviction inside of me to like move away from this identity of being an entrepreneur, of pursuing this consecration stuff so I can make money online and travel the world and live freely and take care of my parents and all that, which of course aren't bad things, but I feel like I attached my identity, or the person who I really was, to this version of myself a little too much, to the point where it kind of gained too much control over my life. And why I say that is because I was attaching so many things to this identity. I want you to look at this identity as the 16-year-old version of myself, desiring this lifestyle because I saw it online and I thought it was cool. Not going to college, not working. I just always thought that being an online entrepreneur, obviously helping people online, whatever which way possible, whatever came to me, and boom, I would just live off like that. But I had that sort of like conviction. I was like, well, what if God doesn't want me to do this? And I think a lot of people have that as well. Maybe you on the other side of the screen have that as well, where you're going throughout your day-to-day, your life, and you realize, hey, this career, this path that I'm going down really isn't what I think is best for me, or what God thinks is best for me. And it might be hard to even accept that. It was hard for me to accept that because, well, for the last 3-4 years, I've been creating content. I've been desiring and chasing this this entrepreneur self that I've been like this impounding into my identity, to the point where it was hard for me to let go because, well, I've been doing this for so long. This is just what I always thought was possible. I never really thought that I'd become a soccer coach. I always thought this would just be something on the side until this started to pop off, right? But now the soccer stuff is getting a little more, it's not that bad. I'm still able to do what I need to do. But a lot of things going on that side and not much on this side. And I started wondering, well, what if God doesn't want me to do this anymore? And I'm sure you maybe have the same questions, but once I was able to detach myself from the version of myself that I thought was best and allowed God to, align myself with God's will and allow Him to do whatever He needs to do with me to be the best for Him, peace came through. Pretty much the quote I want to go off of is, not my will be done but yours. When I'm pretty sure it was Jesus talking to God. He was telling Him that whatever Jesus wants, which is in retrospect us, whatever we want, it's not what we should be going for, rather than what we should be aligning with is God's will. Sorry, I can't talk. And I think this was like the ultimatum for me, not ultimatum, but it was like the breaking point where I finally realized what that quote really meant. And I finally realized what surrendering everything that I want to God really is, because I subtly, always wanted this lifestyle, despite telling myself and everyone that I'm detached, that I am truly a servant of God. I secretly always wanted to be able to do this, which of course isn't a bad desire, but I was still attached to that thing. And the reason why I was still so attached was because I attached my freedom, I attached my worth, I attached my validation, sort of my identity, like I was saying, to this, to the point where if this were to if this were to have gone good, no matter how high I would have pushed this, it would have been in such an unstable ground because it's something outside of me. It's content, it's followers, it's whatever it is, it's outside of my control, that it's so unstable, I wouldn't be able to live a life of peace, because I'd constantly be chasing for more. I'd constantly be looking for better ways to improve my content, which I'm not saying is bad, but I'd be living for something outside of me. And if things go worse right now, well, then I'd just probably crumble. I'd be like, man, this life really isn't for me. What am I going to do? Honestly, I started, when things started going a little down, because I stopped posting, I didn't really feel like any conviction or any fire to post. I noticed that I sort of felt like I lost myself. I was like, well, what am I doing? I'm sort of just floating around. I'm going day to day. Of course, I'm still learning. I'm still reading my books. I'm still meditating. I'm still obviously trying to be the best version of me. But the path I'm going on, I really had no idea where I was going. I was like, am I lost? Is this career still going to be a part of mine? Is it still guaranteed? And yeah, I got really doubtful. I got really scared because I was like, well, I don't want to be a coach forever, you know? Like, of course, if God wants me to, then I will. But again, it's like that, I guess. I think I was talking to my friend, and a big realization I had was I'm speaking for myself, it could be for you as well, but I have this fear that whatever God wants me to do or has me doing in this life isn't going to satisfy me or fulfill me or make me feel good enough about myself than the things that I want for myself. The lifestyle that I think will give me everything that I desire, that I feel like is missing, is something that I can't control and that God won't give me. And if God doesn't give me that, and I have to do something else that's under His will, it wouldn't fulfill me. And so that was my ultimate. I was just scared. I didn't have enough trust. I didn't have enough faith that God really would give me what He promised, in a sense, or give me more than I ever wanted. I of course have this scripture all over the place where it's talking about how God will always give you 10x the amount of things that you expected yourself to get, which of course I would love for that to happen. But of course, in hindsight, or sorry, not hindsight. Is that what it means? Before sight. Right now, when I'm looking at my life, it's kind of hard to see how am I going to get the things that I've always been desiring, you know, to take care of my parents, to live freely, to change lives in front of this camera and get paid for it, travel the world. That was always my idea for myself. But as soon as I was able to let go of that, I was finally able to just be free. I said, you know what, I guess I'll go with the flow. I guess I'll just move with what God has for me. And honestly, coincidentally, as soon as I let go of this whole content creation stuff, I started wanting to make more content. And sure, there are those subtle like attachments where it's like, I hope this video does well. If it does, I'm going to be upset. But I let those stories run. Because I know that my foundation is found here. I know I'm complete. I know I am full. I know I am secured with whatever I am doing here and now, because God is the one that's directing my path. And so that helps me build my faith. That helps me build my trust. And I don't have to worry if this ever pops off. Because I just know that at least one person is getting their life changed. And I know if I'm doing this, then God has me doing this for a reason. So whatever reason I am doing this content for, whatever reason I'm posting so consistently for, I know it's for a reason. And I know it's for God's will. And if one day I do stop posting, and if one day I do pursue maybe even a different career rather than being a soccer coach, I know that I'll be okay. And I think this detachment is what helps me find peace. Because now I'm not attached to something outside of me. Now I'm not attached to an identity that I can't control. Now I'm not attached to an outcome that I can't control. I can let go. And, you know, it says it all the time. Once you can let go of the thing that you want, it comes towards you. And I'm not doing this thing. I'm not letting go of this content creation, this identity, because I want it to come towards me, or like just secretly so I can, you know, manifest it in my life. Of course, that'll be nice. But I'm doing it so I can find peace. I'm doing it so I can truly rest on God's faith. And I hope this can help you see what I see, or see what I saw. Maybe get a spark, maybe a light that can help you determine what path you're going to go down in your life. Maybe even forcing things that you just think is what's best because you've been programmed since you were younger that way of living or that way of living isn't good. I always thought to myself that working a lot of hours, working 9 to 5 was just terrible. Like, you would never want to live that life of slavery. That was what I was programmed to, okay? I was 16. I was a 16, 17-year-old kid listening to, like, you know, all the red pill stuff, which luckily I was able to move out of by that time I was like 17, 18. I was like, yeah, this stuff's kind of cringe. But that was like when it peaked. I'm now almost 20, so that's kind of crazy. But that's what I was programmed to, believing that 9 to 5 was just never a life for me. But now I am working a little more hours. I'm coaching a little bit more. I am being asked to work different shifts. And instead of me resisting it, which I used to do so much, I used to surround my days over shifts that I have in a week because I was resisting that thing so much because I just didn't want to be a slave. Once I was able to let go of that mindset, once I was able to let go of that belief system, that identity, that outcome, that attachment, I found peace. And now the job that I've been working at for a little while, I'm quitting. I'm letting it go. I've found something more at the soccer thing. And of course, now you see me taking a little more action with the content creation. And don't get me wrong. Now, of course, everything that I just said, which this video is getting kind of long, of course, everything that I said, it may seem like, hey, I got everything figured out. Or, hey, at least it seems like he's happy, he's peaceful, which I would, of course, say I am. But I still have those same thoughts that you get when it comes to, man, how am I going to make this work? Or is this going to work? Is it even worth me trying? And me posting this video, I have those doubts inside of my head that is like, well, what's the point? You're not really going to get that much views. Or who's really watching this far? I just feel like, why not me? You know, why can't I do it? Why does it seem so impossible, you know? I know beliefs carry a lot of weight, and I know anything that you hold in your mind can manifest, but yeah, it gets pretty tricky. I'll get into beliefs and stuff next video. But yeah, this is my little spiel of what's been going on these past couple of days, and I don't know, I guess I'll continue doing this. I feel pretty good about it. If I'm ever moved away from it, I'll move away from it. You guys can always contact me on the socials. I can't make any descriptions on my phone for some reason. I gotta go on my laptop. I'm kind of lazy, but you get the idea. Hope the video wasn't too long. If you did stick around this whole time, God bless. Hope this helped, and I'll catch you.